and you have a proximity to a known or actively utilized water table, and you're connected to freshwater lenses, etc., then you only get 1 point for that, because you're really operating in a ecologically and ecosystem sensitive zone. You get 2 points if you are using chemicals and your proximity to known or actively utilized water table connections to fresh water. Okay, those are active. The difference here is between a broad range of chemical use and just some chemical use. Because remember, we're not expecting it to be totally agrochemical free. You get 3 points. It's an average score. If you have chemical use, but there's no known or actively utilized water table in the drainage basin. So you are not necessarily threatening the biodiversity in the drainage basin, because that is not seen as a likely. You get a good rating if you have no inorganic chemical use at all. Then you get an excellent rating if, apart from having no inorganic chemical use, the runoff is controlled by perimeter storm drains. So this is the ultimate history concern. So whether you are a considerably flat landscape like might pertain in Antigua, or you're on an extremely steep as might pertain in one of the Windward Islands, than show in Grenada, then if you have perimeter storm drains, then you are telling us that you are concerned about this approach to Windward Island to the extent where you have deliberately put in a storm drain. So even though you have chemical runoff, the chemical runoff would stay in your storm drain, or as we were discussing yesterday, in your swale. Everybody still there? Yeah. Cool. More energetic. Okay. Take those plants and plant them out. You have no idea yet what the impact will be on the environment, especially if you're a new farmer. Okay. You get 3 marks if you're using imported seed that is state approved when through all the quarantine and veterinary health checks. Yeah. Make sense? So you see how it will impact every single operation. So even though you might tell me, oh, I don't use some, maybe using feed seed and other solidified elements. And when I use the terms for forms of geoplasma, forms of property rules, use the correct. Anything use the plant human to get new plant. Yeah? So if it's some um, cutting, some stem cutting, if it's some stem cuttings from a sour plant, you know that your small girl and goes. I know how it goes. You see, I'm walking like this coming to currently. And although I'm not confessing, I'm telling you that there are people who, when they know they have a trip to make, they leave the country, saying that they had a football, playing football over the weekend. But when they come back, they won't know that they have some plans to travel. I'm not making this up. Somebody else has. Yeah. I That is a very, very important point. Now, I'm not sure how you will pick them because that depends on the honesty of the farmer. You follow? There's no way as an extension of it that you can go onto a farm and know, right? If the farmer tells you, then you can use that as a measure. But if you're just looking at it, see there, it's difficult to tell. But I hope we understand the importance of localized quarantine restriction. But there are times when you don't want to be moving plants from parish A to parish B. Yeah? Yep. Right. Like I remember Nicholas in Trinidad, when the giant African snail was discovered in one location, we tried to literally do an internal quarantine. But by that time, the way they go out to the bus flows, the snails had already moved out of that zone. And remember, we keep talking about invasive alien species. Not all of them have immediate impact. Not every crisis will be a amoeba type crisis where you had rules of deforestation, you had a broad plant range. When you talk about things like amoeba, you're talking about the entire migratory family, like biscuits, like the whole range of things. Some of them are more insidious. So they get in there, and before you really know what's happening, the thing becomes distributed widely. And then it's difficult to attempt to eradicate it after that. Yeah. So of course, you get a good rating using clean seed and other certified inputs. Question 16. Have your project operation affected water, catchment, slope stability, wildlife, or recreational areas? And I think I want to add this as I'm thinking about it. Maybe mangrove areas as well. Because what we're talking about here are genuine rich to reef concerns, right? How have you been exposed to rich to reef consideration? In other words, what you do on the inside is going to impact your fisheries eventually. Yeah? But it's going to come down the inside, get into the waterways, and eventually get into your coastal zones and impact your fisheries, your reef dynamics, or your tourism product. Now, And so you're talking about farming and not just ecologically sensitive zone, but area of high nature value significant. Right, less than 49% of the forest site leads to a lot of food producing trees where it's not plants. Actually, you get 2 points. The ceiling, but not what on what else. The project site does not affect food producing trees or medicinal plants or watershed catchment or managed recreational space. So this will have a visual impact. To get a good rating, less than 50% of the project site needs addition. We see this one, an addition of food producing trees, medicinal plants, watershed catchment, or managed recreational space. So you may be operating on a so and make the deliberate choice to maintain the catchment potential of the trees, let's say on the perimeter of your property. So instead of clearing the entire 5 acres on your board, you recognize the significance of some of the food producing or medicinal plants on the property, right? And this is not perfection because sometimes you buy a property and realize, okay, quite a few people sell you a property with lumber, standing lumber on it. So then you buy it first, cut the lumber first, and then sell you the land, right? But there are times when they might not recognize some of the food producing trees, but adapt it just to be able to raise the price. These are very, I mean, anybody, these are things that you don't see stuff in, right? They've left those trees and you made the conscious decision that, okay, I will leave those trees in the perimeter because they add to the food producing trees, especially food products of nutritional value, nutritional value, red fruit, red nut, that type of thing. And you decide to leave it. Or they make plants of medicinal value. I think from experience, not of use, but of knowledge. There are times when you have guavanda trees and so, so you leave those because they have medicinal, right? But those of you who don't know what guavanda trees are, I don't know what medicinal value they have. I will Google it. And then we had other main spice trees on the property that may or may yeah. And then you get excellent richness, more than 50% of the project site leads to an additional producing trees or medicinal plants or watershed catchment. In other words, just think about assessing that part based on which trees that were deliberately left. They won't get a bad rating in land use because this is not as if you clear fell. Nobody by your first question, if you clear fell more than 50% of it, then we look at you and it's scored. So it's again, look what you done did. You cut down all these trees, there's no more water catchment, potential. You're going to lose topsoil. But here, although you're not utilizing all the landscapes, you're still conserving the resource, not just the land resource, but the biodiversity in terms of the plant life and whatever associated fauna. I think it's fair. Do I see that?